Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't need to stand.
No.
Okay. My name is Mark, M-A-R-K, last name is Friend, F-R-I-E-N-D, I live at 15 Steubenville Road, and we have well water, okay? Now, at the end of 2022, we were paying $90 a quarter for our sewer, okay? Now, 2 years later, we get this notice. 2023, they raised it to 125. 2 years later, we get this notice. Now it's going to be $183. That's 100% increase in 2 years. All right. I called Mr. Gormley on 7 or 9:30. I called him, and the answers that I received were that because they cannot meter our water, we're going to be charged $183, okay? Now, I see on here that commercial, they're gonna be paid for 10,000 gallons. I let Mr. Gormley know that it's only me and my wife living there. Commercial, 10,000 gallons is gonna be paying 147. Residential, minimum charge is gonna be 120. And I asked, why? Just because we have well water with 2 people living there, are we going to be charged $183 the most out of anybody for the minimum? They said because they cannot meter our water usage. I suggested put a meter in, which can be easily done. Okay, he said no, we can't do that. All right, so my problem is how anyone could come up with that just because. The answer is because we don't know what you use. It's ridiculous that they charge us the most. And the other thing is that there's probably a better alternative, maybe, to go by per person that lives in the dwelling. You know, maybe one person, $90 a quarter, 2 people, 120, 3 people, 150, 4 more, 180. So, I mean, it's a better, a more, I believe, a more feasible solution than just saying, that's what you get, that's what you charge, because we don't know what you use. Either that or put meters in, one or the other. But that just coming out of the air, pulling out of the air, 183, the most out of everybody, because we have well water, is not fair. It's not fair.
Mr. Friend, can I ask you a question? At this point, do you have any way of knowing how much water you're pulling out of your own well?
At this point, no, but I mean,
I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I lived in the city before, and the meter comes in before the usage. You can easily put a meter there, easily, right in line, and figure out how much water we use.
Do you have a schedule for well homeowners with wells? Is that the
that's
the fixed schedule?
Mm-hmm.
And is that
Northampton's like, I believe, 190 or?
I do not live in Northampton. You gave me that answer before. I live in Newtown.
I'm just giving you an example. That's all I was doing.
right? Just for comparison, is there a certain minimum assumed? Is it?
That's the problem. It's unknown.
Could be 14 to 16.
It's unknown.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people, and I'm not saying you guys are at all. We've had 2 people that could use well over 10,000 gallons. It's just habits, you know,
Well,
that those particular people. I understand. No,
I'm just saying, how does commercial, their minimum is 147. It's like, but if you have well water, you're going to be charged 183. It's just ridiculous.
I think the other thing to note too is that we don't actually have meters. We purchase our readings from the water company.
I understand.
So the water company has the meters, they maintain the meters. We purchase the numbers from them. And in a well, with the well situation, we just don't know how much the potential's there for endless usage.
Well, we're 2 people.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous to be charged that much money for 2 people living in a single dwelling. When you see the schedule here, you can see the
I have to
schedule.
pull the numbers. It's not a terrible amount, but it's a you know, there's a few, yeah.
Well water people are getting penalized because they're well water. We're the 2 people that live there.
Yeah. Well, why don't we take your concerns, discuss it, and review it.
We hear what you're saying.
And like I said, why don't you go per person? That's just my suggestion.
Just one
also a note on the per person, just so you know, because I work for some other authorities, that if you did it by per person without the meter involved, there could be additional, you know, there are some people are not as responsible. I'm not saying you wouldn't be, but I'm just saying there's situations where, I understand, I'm just saying that, it's hard to just do it per person, because if you have a meter, then obviously if there's an increase in flow and something's going on, then there's a decision point to do some investigative work, where if you're just doing flat per person, you don't have that option.
What do meters cost?
Usually $200 for a residential.
300.
Yeah.
I bought one down the street a few years ago, $300 for it.
Okay.
That is-
Electronic.
No,
No,
that's
that's
just the
price of
price
the
of the
meter,
meter.
another 300 to install.
All right.
Let us take it under advisement, and we appreciate you coming in, and we'll talk about it. We're not that pressed for time, talk about it.
Sure.
And, see if
I just
something
had,
come up.
I had to come and say
No, I
something.
appreciate it,
No,
yeah.
that's-
Because it's just like everybody's, it's ridiculous, it's,
Yeah,
you know, it's,
understand. Yeah.
you know.
It doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of people using well water. Maybe it's, and the township will cover it far out. There may be a solution in there somewhere.
Okay,
Just have to talk about it.
Okay,
all right,
thank you.
thank you.
Welcome to stay if you wish.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm a little pressed for time,
Okay.
so,
Gotta go home and turn the
Okay.
lawn on.
Okay. Anybody else?
all right, everyone take care. Thank you for
Yeah.
listening.
Thank you.
My name is Barry Scott. I'm the president of the Homeowners Association for the village of Newtown.
Scott, thank you.
I'm just here on a fact finding, trying to get a little bit of information. Understand a pretty large increase in sewer costs, and a little bit of information maybe on the cost of the new facility, because it would be fairly close to us. We're a big clubhouse, so it's my budget time of the year too, so.
Okay.
I don't really have a question, I'm just trying to get information.
Have you had a chance to review all of the information on the website? Yes.
No, I have a guy that does that for me with the township, and he's on vacation. So he has to like,
Come
I
to our
had
next
two
meeting,
people come in
send
from
us
Dover,
emails,
Newtown.
we'll try to be responsive. And I live up the street from you, so.
We have a somewhat extensive explanation of what's going on that might be a good help to start to review.
Okay.
And then, you know, I don't wanna kick the can or push it down, but what you're asking is probably a long answer.
Okay.
And if maybe you review that and then get back next month. I'm sure we can print one off, right?
Yeah, I have a husband, from Village of Newtown, and asked about that. Odor and so forth, location, buffering and so on.
Well, someone here that can print.
Yeah, I can.
Got a copy.
New print.
Is that sufficient?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so, hi, Julia Waldorf, Newtown Borough. So I don't know, I'm sorry, I came in this late, but if anyone's already asked this question. But with the rate increases being proposed, how much of that increase has to do with work that's happening actually at the Newtown Sewer Authority and at your new, anticipated, and how much of it is related to issues with Bucks County sewer and water?
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Chairman. We have 21% of the partial increase was due to fixed costs. The remainder of that increase was due to the purchase of the sewer plant.
The 21% is like
Fixed cost.
fixed cost for Newtown Sewer Authority.
That's correct.
Okay, but it's not to fund
No.
the larger system. Okay,
Not directed to the county issues at all.
okay, all right.
And within those fixed costs is the expense associated with Bucks County Water and Sewer. We get a monthly bill.
Meaning we
Yeah,
get a monthly bill.
Their increases that you're passing along to us.
That's
Okay,
correct.
but we're not repairing their sewer system.
No,
Well.
In essence,
indirectly-
you
indirectly.
are, but
You don't have
everyone
to-
is.
they don't tell us how much.
Right.
Yeah. That's basically the driver.
That's the driver.
Of the plant.
Yeah.
They have 360,000 customers, and they own 13, or I should say 10 of the 13 facilities. So you're paying for all of their repairs for the whole entire system. They spread that across their rate base.
And have you been able to fight?
No, that's what, I have everything to do the presentation as well, but we have no representation and no negotiation power either with Bucks or with Philadelphia regarding rates. They are the two drivers.
We flow into Bucks, Bucks flows into Philadelphia.
Yeah, so in other words, we handle capacity, Bucks handles conveyance, and Philly handles treatment.
Right.
So all 13 municipalities on that map, starting in Newtown, going all the way down to past Bristol, all flow to the Chamonix Interceptor and pay Bucks County Water and Sewer. However, over 40 years that I've been here, Bucks County has acquired 9 of the 13, or probably 10 of the 13 municipalities. So they are responsible for all their sewer systems as well, and our system is 63 years old, which needs work. So that's another reason a driver is part of it in the rates, is the capital improvements where things need to be fixed and repaired and done.
Anything else? Okay, thanks.
I got a question. Yeah, thanks for making the time. I'll do some more research and read it a little more thoroughly. Stuart, Stuart Stone,
Thank you.
Newtown Township. So I've been here for 35 years. So my question is, and again, I'll do some more research on this, but it seems like the rate increase is very large. So I have, my mother-in-law lives in Newtown Park. I have 2 properties there, Reynolds, she lives there. Both single women, they're only one bedroom condos. They always, no one gets above 10,000 gallons. I have another condo in Newtown, Grant. That person, again, single, 2-bedroom, you could have 2 more kids. They never get above 10,000. So I pulled an old sewer bill, and in December of 22, the rate was $68. And a note on January of 23 bill is, hey, it's our first increase since 2020. It went up to $82. Now we go to $121 proposed sometime, is it next year? I didn't read all the details.
January 1st.
Okay, that's a 79% increase in 2 years. That's huge. That's huge. And I get what you just described, and I will read much further to understand it. That's a big increase. It's a huge increase. So it's not just going from 82 to 121. It's gone from 68 to 121. So you got to think about where people are paying the economy. Like I said, again, my situation might be unique, but there are 3 single people, and they never ever spend more than the minimum sewer rate. So you got times 21 times 4. That's a lot for someone who's retired.
Yeah. That's probably every 6 months or so, someone with that minimum in the same situation. And that minimum is established to cover the overall fixed cost of the entire system.
And I understand
so
that.
That's where the minimum comes from.
Right.
Is in terms of the actual rates, it's essentially the 60 to 80 is probably mostly Bucks and some internal infrastructure. And again, what Warren just said, the 80 to 120 is 20% of that is the system. And then now that we're trying to break off of the system and build our own, we're starting to incur costs for that.
So has it been, my bad for not reading this, I just got the note, but has the decision been made to build your own, or is it still a make or buy decision? In other words, build a plant, or can you still have the opportunity to buy it, or do you have to build a plant?
No, we're intending on building a sewer plant.
Okay, so that decision's been made
handle our own
then.
sewage so that we don't have to go to Bucks and then to Philadelphia.
Okay, and you explained that earlier, I got that. Okay, just something to think about. Just, again, I'll understand it in more detail, but I appreciate the time. Just, to me, it's 78% increase in 3 years.
I think, the big driver of again, to Warren's point, this flow goes from us to Bucks to Philadelphia. We're at their mercy. And we know we know their system needs a lot of repair in the next 50 years, and a lot in the next 5 years.
Yes. Well, they actually have the paperwork that they have taken out bonds. They're going to take out over $200 million to fix part of their systems. They also bought Bristol Township, and this is one that was in the patch, and this is back in 22, over $200 million bucks. So in other words, the sale of Bucks didn't go through. So now all of the, disrepair that needed to be done is all brought forth. And it says right here, consent decree by the U.S. Department of Justice to go toward repairs. So, Bucks is, I don't know if they've been in as long as us since the 60s, but over the years, not much was done. There wasn't an incentive. Now, what's happening is DEP is pushing for all municipalities to take care of their systems, take care of their I&I. And as you move forward, Bucks now is also controlling this. This is the fourth component in our rate structure that Bucks now has taken over what they call the connection management plan, and that is all of the building in both the township and the borough. So what happens, we need to do, the sewer authority, they want extensive I&I work, which is inflow and infiltration, water coming into the system. They won't look at what we've done from 1997 on up through 2012. It's everything from 2017 forward. So what happens is we have to go in and we have to look at all of our sewer lines, all the laterals, the manholes, the joints, the house connections. This costs tens of thousands of dollars if somebody wants to connect to the sewer. They pulled the EDUs from the township. I'm sure you're aware of that, John. There's no EDUs. So BDUs meaning equivalent dwelling unit, which allows for connections of commercial businesses and residential. There was there was miscellaneous on that CMP. They pulled it all, and DEP allowed it. And this is the same DEP who approved this CMP 2-3 years ago with all this EDUs on it. So now Bucks is in control of this whole entire thing. And when you do all this work and spend all this money, there's no guarantee you're going to get EDUs. It comes down to them approving it. And if they feel that you didn't do enough work or didn't get enough out of it, they're not going to give you any EDUs.
Essentially, we're at their mercy, and you know, and our system is very strong, very good. Our I&I numbers are low, very low.
I figured most, I mean, look, expansion, since I've been here 35 years, it's all outside the borough. It's relatively more new construction probably than, say, Bristol is. It's logically, to me, that's probably, the infrastructure's better and newer.
Yeah, and maintained better,
Yeah,
and fiscally managed as well,
Yeah.
over a lot of years. So that's again why we want to break away, because we don't know what the rest of those systems are in shape, and Bucks owns them. So, you know, we see increases from Bucks coming in very substantial amounts, in, you know, often, which is why we want to break away from that.
So and I didn't read it. How are you gonna fund that? Is that gonna be through a bond? What are you gonna do? Is it?
Yeah, again, I guess I would defer you to the website and the frequently asked questions.
I'll go back to it. I will
If you
read
don't
that.
mind.
It'll be through.
I'll read that. Okay.
But yes, it will be a bond.
Project and it's expensive.
It will be a bond.
I mean, the other thing too to keep in mind is Bucks purchased Bristol for $50 million. And what they said was at the time, he said it's better that Bucks County Authority have control of the plant because there are hundreds of thousands of customers in Bucks County and Montgomery and Chester counties. They can spread the cost of maintenance and repairs through their system to many customers.
Which means us.
Outside of
Which
Bucks
is
County. Yeah.
every.
Yeah.
So we're paying for that
Yeah.
as well.
I think we're just trying to control our own future.
Sure.
because,
Sure. That's
it's
all.
out
You
of
can't
our
control
hands
everything
right
else,
now.
but I hear you.
So it's a cost we're going to approve now, for better service in the future, more EDUs, that we don't have to fight with Bucks County Water and Sewer. It's just taking control and making our system, which is great, even better, and better service for the customers, better infrastructure, everything.
Okay.
Yeah, you look on Bucks's website, I was on there, and they go right down the list. They have what they call, what their meetings. They have where they're spending the money, what's going on, 60 million here, 40 million there, 50 million here, 30 million here, 60 million on the interceptor. It's all what they own, 160 facilities in total. So we're all paying for it. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And they all need repair. We're at 63 years. Some of these facilities are probably either older or right with us. So they're all gonna need this repair and what's going
The
to.
typical 50-year life, is that what you?
Well, it depends on the pipe. So in other words, we fortunately don't have that much terracotta pipe, but what we do have is needs to be replaced in some areas just because it's deteriorated.
Yeah.
The other thing is we had plastic pipe, got rid of that, and we used class 52 ductile iron. So we don't have to worry about that deteriorating. But I mean, we took precautions throughout the years to benefit us in the future, which it has. That's why we were able to keep rates low. Bucks was charging, what we're charging now, Bucks was charging in 2014. So, to their ratepayers. They were like $43.95 a month. So that's more than what we're saying, because we're $120 for the quarter,
Yeah.
so. And I have all the paperwork to back that up. I can give you whatever you need.
I'll read first and I'll come back.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure,
next-
just give me
Next
a call.
Monday, right? Or next, oh, that's John
It's the
Mack.
second Tuesday of every month. This
That's
happens
right.
to be a special meeting because of, scheduled yesterday.
Okay.
Second
All right,
Tuesday.
thanks, everyone.
Look at both the county site and
I
our
will.
site, so you compare
Sure.
them.
Okay. That's Stuart, S-T-U-A-R-T, that
Okay.
always gets misspelled. All right, thanks, I appreciate your time.
You can grab the
Bye-bye.
papers on the way out.
If you just ask the guys up front, the girls up front, they'll give you the printout if you'd like.
Okay, super.
Did you want one
A little bit
too?
of trouble.
Did you
Print out
want
of,
Of the
question and answer and the rate
Kind of where
info?
we're at right now.
Yeah, that'll be up front
Went
if you
along
need
with the
it.
rate
Okay.
increase,
Thank you.
things like that. Thank you. Sir.
Yeah, I submitted a bunch of comments and questions to Mr. Gromley before the meeting. I didn't get a chance to read the Q&As. Is that what you're saying is up in front?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can get a printout if you'd like.
So some of my questions may be answered in there.
Sure.
And if you
We can
have
sit
the
down and
opportunity.
talk. Exactly, if you want to be able to do this, we can do it next week. I'd like to have my engineer there present too as well.
Yeah, I mean, that might be better time to think about. But one thing I was kind of needed some more information about. I know from the last meeting that it was estimated that this new plant might cost $150 million. And that you might need to float a bond to do that. Can you explain how a bond works? Is that something the voters would have to approve? Is that how it works?
No, but I believe Terry would be
No.
able to.
No, the authority board they have the power to authorize issuance of a bond issue and incorporation of the debt service into the rate structure of the authority.
So then that debt would have to be paid off in some manner,
Correct.
and that could be additional rate increases.
Correct.
Okay. And is there any regulatory authority that you need to submit to have these rate increases?
We don't submit anything to the PUC. Privately owned, and the water companies, of course, have to, but not municipal.
Their authorities are regulated by the Municipal Authorities Act, so there is a regulatory body, but any authority that is formed as part of a municipality that has elected officials, the elected officials appoint the members of the authority. So that gives them rate setting ability without a state regulatory process.
Great. The only other, let's say, concern that I have being a supervisor in Newtown is that, we're in a budget season here. The township managers come to us and said, I don't know, there's maybe a need for more personnel, that basically we're having a hiring freeze because I assume he doesn't want to raise taxes, municipal taxes. But at some point, we're going to have to raise taxes. And what I'm being charged, for example, under this new, if I'm only using 10,000, I'm not sure, is just about equivalent to what I'm currently paying in municipal taxes. So people in Newtown are complaining about the municipal taxes. And I know they're complaining about this rate hike, and that's why I did this survey, so you can get some comments from people and so on.
I have several of them myself that.
But I'm concerned as you're increasing rates, and then we have to come back to the people at some point and say we need to increase taxes because our manager says we need 4 more new firemen, for example. We need to have a 24/7 fire department. That's going to cost a huge amount of money. And raising the rate by 4 mils is not even going to cover that. And, people get upset when we raise the rate by 1 mil, tax by 1 mil. So imagine what would happen, when we come in and next year, maybe, who knows, say we need to raise our tax by 4 mils, and they say, well, we just got this increase from the sewer authority, we can't stand it. So that's just a concern. I just wanted to express that.
Feel your pain.
we're all ratepayers, taxpayers at the same minute.
It's daunting to think about all the work that really needs to be done, and it's not just the sewers. I mean, we got road work, we got other things, so, I
You
think
don't have
that.
to read too long to know the state of infrastructure in the country everywhere.
Yeah, I'm glad this is gonna be my last year coming up, and I'm gonna stay in Newtown, so I'm gonna have to pay, but people are not gonna call me.
I don't know if this helps or not, and I know you don't live in Northampton, and I know this is a big, taboo to say, but I'm in Northampton. For 3,000 gallons per month, just sewer, it's $45. That's just the sewer.
Per month?
Per month.
I gotta talk to my son, he lives in Newtown.
So, yeah, we did some analysis, we looked at other communities, and I know it's hard to say that to folks because they don't live in Northampton, and I get it. But I do, and it's for 3,000 gallons, $45. That's just sewer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's, yeah. But I hear
I'll
it.
look at the Q&As, and hopefully you'll be able to update them as you get maybe
Yeah, there's
more
a lot on
comments
there,
from
Josh.
people.
Just give me a call.
Yeah.
Email me, call me.
All right, great, thanks.
I think we'll have a presentation for the supervisors as well as our own council. There will be, presentations made with our engineer, so everybody understands everything that's going on.
All right.
Yeah, and ongoing, I mean, I think we're scheduled for the borough next month, and,
Yep. Yeah.
there's a lot, there's
Don't
gonna
go
be
to the
five-
borough and then say the township is agreeing to
Yeah,
this.
we know.
Without coming to the township first. All right, thank you.